Hello everybody, this is Mr. Tank again. Today I'm going to stream a quick tour of both my outposts. One is the Everbark outpost, which will be the second one I do, and then the first one's a newer, like, tropical island one. I can't exactly remember the name of it just yet, but I'm going to stream just a quick tour of both of them, and then on the Everbark outpost I'm going to do a bonus feature and stream a starter build for you. But it's going to be out of the, turn that down a little bit. It's going to be on just the regular basic wood. I'm not going to use the thatch because I don't really like building with thatch, but I'm going to go ahead and load in to the island outpost, which is on the, Aquatica Isle outpost. I'm going to go ahead and load in there. Yes, Steam friends only, because typically I only prefer my Steam friends to be in my worlds. The outposts, eventually I may open them up to everybody in the game that plays. That way they can enjoy them and do whatever they want with them, as long as they don't change the building, of course. So this will take a minute to load for me. Icarus normally does. I don't mind the fact I'm a little bit under the weather. I've got a bit of a cold here. Correct, I know you've been mentioning the background noise, but I'm just kind of realizing something today. The fish tank in the back kind of has that waterfall effect and that sound to it, so I think it actually adds some extra to the video. Anyway, once this loads in, we'll get started. Now I am still on the No Weather Thor's Hammer free build mod, which is the mod I typically use in the outpost, because the outpost is typically where I just build my whatever ideas I have. Now with that mod, unfortunately, you can only build what you have unlocked in the tech tree. So when it comes up, I mean, I think I've showed you guys in the other videos. If I haven't, I will real quick what all I have unlocked in all 4 tiers. But so we'll just have to wait and see here in a minute. Anyway, so we're going to start here in the Aquatica Isle outpost. This one I actually started yesterday. We're going to sleep to morning real quick, because if you see the time up in the upper right hand corner there, it's 1800, so that means we need to sleep, make it daylight. There we go. Now this particular outpost, I was trying to decide where exactly I wanted to build. So it took me a minute, because it surprisingly, I mean, if you look at the map, this is actually kind of a big outpost. There's a lot to it. I think, I think alone the Everbark outpost I own is probably half of this. I could be wrong on that, which will load into Everbark, but so I chose, I don't know why I closed the map, right here between map squares C2 and C3, literally right here on the bottom half of C2. Big orange circle is the animal deterrent, just shows that. This pond was my second choice for the build. It wasn't my first choice. I'll show you my first choice real quick. So the first choice for the build was actually a little bit further away, over here. Okay, Thor's Hammer is not wanting to cooperate with me tonight. Oh, here we go. So the idea, I was going to actually try to maybe see if I can get something to build with this waterfall going through it. Didn't work out too well at first. And then I decided, well, you know what, I could build over on top of this cove here. And then it could potentially, even the cove could be potentially a basement, which was something Crack mentioned when I was showing it off to him yesterday when he came in to help me with the electrical and the water. But unfortunately, it didn't work out too well. I didn't like the way it was turning out, so I tore it down and moved over here to where the base is now. So alright, let's take Thor's Hammer off. Oh, that didn't work. No, it'll work. You can tell the blue there is actually the water pipe when Crack come through yesterday to help me build this, the electrical and the water. He put the thatch down there just to help make it look, or make it easier to get under there. And Crack has a very good and clean way of hiding the piping and the electrical wiring, but so this is the kind of a primitive wooden style base. A little bit more advanced for starters, I'd imagine, but they're new people to the game. And of course, when I build, I like to go crazy, as you've seen in my Olympus outpost or Olympus map. But we'll start here in the first floor. Obviously, this here is the kitchen area. A couple extra storage chests here, the workshop MXC crate, and then the medium wood crate that you can build from the tech tree. Got your salting station and your skinning bench, you know, your medicine benches, your marble kitchen bench, the sink, which I don't think I've shown in the other videos yet. I don't think I have it in the other ones. I think it's on my Everbark, but I don't quite remember. I haven't been on Everbark in quite a few days, or a few weeks, so. Then the fridge and the deep freeze. So this is just the kitchen area. Out back here I've got the forge and the anvil, kind of in a hidden area. And then these are the flow meters, which I have yet to hook up. So I will probably end up hooking those up later. I forgot to finish that yesterday when I was building this, so I got kind of into another game. But this area here is just the manufacturing. It's going to have the advanced textiles, the machining bench, the crafting bench, which I've mentioned in other streams. I prefer to have, just in case something happens. Your material processor, your fabricator. Of course, you got to have your water and oxygen stuff. And the advanced masonry bench, and glass and carpentry bench. Upstairs here, dehumidifier, so you can sleep without lighting a campfire. Sleeping quarters for all the friends that play the game. Each one of them will have their own little cabinet to store stuff in if they choose to come in and play. And then this here is going to basically be the storage room itself for whatever ores are collected, or all the basic stuff. Okay, that's a little off. I'll have to fix that later. So just a small, primitive, not overly extravagant, probably more advanced for a starter to the game. And of course these cakes actually give you buffs. So and then of course, you know, I have Great Hunts, even though the Great Hunts campaign and the regular missions don't work on this, but you can do simple missions and then the orbital exchange. Up top here is where all the electrical's at. Got 6 solar panels, and looks like I think I put up 5 turbines. So this is where all the electrical is generated. Look down again, see the forge and the anvil. And then it's kind of in a nice remote corner here. I can tell you right now, trying to set the beams down below that are holding this place up, quite a few of those little blue fish, like that little one right there, kept biting the crap out of me. So, but this here is actually one of the newer outposts. They added another one since. So this one's a couple months old, but it's a nice island. For anybody that likes to lay out on the beach, there you go. There's your beach to lay out on. But it's all around the island, plus it's got a smaller island off to the side. A lot of grasslands, a lot of water areas, all around a nice place. One of Icarus's better outposts, in my opinion. And Icarus is one of the more, in my opinion, top-rated survival games. I'm sure that people have differing opinions on that. It does have its issues. I do think they need to do some work to the servers, and instead of, you know, neglecting them. But other than that, I mean, that's my only complaint, really. But just a quick fly around tour here. I mean, you got some really nice areas, nice beaches. This map is, I actually have it set to normal instead of easy, but you know, that way I could have a little bit of a challenge if I'm on here playing, or if anybody else jumps in. My Everbark outpost, I have it set to easy, because I mainly just put it on for the building aspect of things. Got more waterlands here, and this place goes a good distance. Nice streams up and down the place. There's no height ceiling here. Well, I'm sure there is at some point, but right now there's not. I made a mistake yesterday when I was touring looking for a place to build of going down in this little hole here, and almost got stuck. Thankfully I was able to just fly back out with Thor's hammer. But then again, I could have done the easy way and just hit unstuck, but I wanted to have the fun with the hammer. But here's another good area to build. These streams are really nice to work with. So I'm back to where I was building before. Now, this is more of probably going to stick to being a more primitive build. I may up it to stone, just so it'll kind of blend in with the background a little bit, with the little cave behind there. But other than that, I think I may just stick this with just the primitive type wooden build, which I'm going to show you on Everbark here in a few minutes when I load into that map. But so that is Aquatic Isle. I'm going to go ahead and log out of this one. And oh, always make sure you set your spawn point or set your bed no matter where you're at. But go ahead and return to character select. Now I'm in free crafting mode, so I'm not going to be gathering anything when I show you the primitive starter build. So I'm just going to go ahead and build it. Anybody else, you may not have that option, so you know, you're better off just doing it the right way. Now you can tell which two of these maps I'm on. I've actually got a couple. I need to delete these two because I haven't done anything on them. I think Tank 2.0 might be on there, but I don't remember. And maybe Tank 3, I think, Mr. Tank 3.0 or something like that. I'd have to look. But we're going to go into the Everbark outpost. Actually, no characters on that one. That one's a different map. Hold fast outpost, okay. I don't remember putting that one together, but anyway. So, go ahead and go into this prospect. It'll take a minute to load, obviously. And like I said, if you know me and you've seen my videos, you know I like to build with the glass type structure. So that's what I did on this map. And it's not a very big build. It's a smaller build. I actually have a tamed buffalo that I tamed on the map, which I may end up sending that up here soon. That way if I need it on another map I can use him. But I can't remember what I named it. I think I just kept it with whatever name it had when I tamed it. But this map typically has a little bit of lag, but not terrible. It's a fun map regardless. I've done quite a few simple missions off of it, and the simple missions, you play on them, you still get the same threats as you would on the server maps or the regular maps. But this is my Everbark outpost build. This is on map square B4, down here in this pond. It's on the center island. This pond up here that splits off between B2 and B3 is probably two of the more, or is probably the deepest pond in in the entire game. Luna was looking for a place for Crack to build her an underwater castle. I think this is where it was going to be because it was one of the deepest. But anyway, we'll just go ahead and start from the top. This area here is kind of like a 3-floor type setup. Kind of ish. So up here is, as you can tell, sleeping quarters, dehumidifier, of course, you know. I don't remember why I put this here, but maybe it's just for decoration. Go out here on the balcony, you know, you got your call down board, your orbital exchange, your contact device, the stuff, all the basics, little power station up top here. Got the ladder to get up on the roof. This is typically where I'm in here and I'm running Thor's hammer, we're building. I'll jump up here, get on the center ledge, and fly out to wherever I'm at, wherever I need to go. But that's another story. As you can tell, this is all glass and interior wood. Of course, no weather. And then this little second story type ordeal here is actually over top the front porch. Little storage racks or cabinets here, some of the primitive basic stuff, which I'll probably load on and take with me. Oxygen and water can be filled. And this is the, actually I may just take some of this stuff with me instead of crafting more. I got plenty of it. Yeah, I've got way more building supplies than I thought I needed. Down here, you know, I've got the bigger fish tank. I like this fish tank for some reason. Requires 1,000 power, requires 750 units of water, has some of the different fish for this map. Crimson snapper, the black diamond discus, ember trout, sunset trout, pearl diano, and just different storages, you know, so just some good stuff to have. Your fishing bench, your advanced masonry, carpentry, machining bench, more storage over here. Got the front porch here, a couple little seating areas. Oh wait, there was something out on the front here. Oh, the quarrite head. Earned that when I did that first quarrite mission on Olympus. And if I wanted to, I could put some extra, like, smaller storage chests down here under the stairs. But then you got manufacturing and cooking over here, so you got all the same stuff as the other worlds. Okay, this one did have a plumb sink. Okay, forgot about that. So, which the marble kind of fits this a little bit better with the stone bricks I have, which I like the looks of the stone bricks. So does Luna. But I've got everything here. You know, I've got, what's this, 36,000 power going into this base right now, and then 3,000 water supply, so that's quite a bit, plus 2 big battery packs. I haven't finished fully putting in all the necessary stuff, like the electric furnace I was going to put here, but the stone furnace works pretty good for now. But then again, most time when I'm on here I'm doing free crafting anyway with the free build mod. But unfortunately I still have to fill up my water and oxygen tanks like regular, and I still have to eat food regularly. So we're going to go and fill those up real quick. I need to craft some more basic tanks to put in here, or maybe even some water bladders and some oxygen bladders. Now this door here, get rid of all that. This is the Buffalo Zeno. Okay, so that was the name that it had initially at the start. You can ride the Buffalo. Move him away from the food trough. This world I'm not too worried about if he decides to keep his face in front of the food trough or the water trough. He's the only animal on it. But I'm gonna run up here and sleep till morning real quick. It's gonna get dark here in a second. So now we got about 20 seconds. I typically choose this bed here. It's just the one I chose initially. I'll show you that out there once we make it daylight again here in a second. Oh, wrong way. So typically you have to wait until 1800, which, if you know military time, is about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's just the way the game is structured. So we got that extra couple of seconds left. There we go. Sleep till morning. Go back down. We'll go this way. Out the door. Kitchen workshop. I've got everything labeled. Ranching station out here. Forge, anvil, Mr. Tank outpost, bio and wood composter, an extra stack of stone. I started this world on a regular gameplay. I built a house specifically for the foundry, which there's 2 turbines up there running it. And the foundry, you know, so far this is everything I have unlocked for it. And then of course I've got a cabinet out here for the foundry to hold extra weapon stuff. That is a oxide deposit, so if you don't have the air tank you have to have oxide on you in order to breathe. Got a little area over here for... Oh wait. I was going to do something with this area and I don't remember what it was now. We got the front of the house. This, when I first built it, almost had that western style theme, but I didn't keep it. I just really like the glass design better. Down below, you can see I've got 2 water pumps with my crappy piping and wiring. Trap door going through to the first one. And then turbines running both of those. And then a bullseye target for practice on shooting. And then the target dummy to practice with. You got your windmill. I like this thing as a decorative piece. And then just a little seating area, but this can also be used as a fishing bench or a fishing pier to fish from if you wanted to fish from it. So, which I have done a few times. But yeah, this is actually the first outpost I really got depth completely into. Also got all the harvesting and stuff here. So there's a lot of good places on this map to build. So I'm gonna grab just a couple things because I'm not gonna put anything extravagant on here, just some small stuff. Actually, we'll grab both of those, some wall pieces, a couple of those. Throw an extra bedroll and a beacon. Actually, put that back. Yeah, you know what? We will use that. Okay, I can't make up more. I know we won't. We'll take the MXC cot and the fireplace. Stack of wood. Small storage chest. And we'll go over here. We'll grab... Let's see here. We'll grab the cooking station. Grab the alterations bench. The oxygen purifier. Basic water purifier. Grab masonry textiles. And what else? What else? What else? What else? I don't have what else I want on here. What we're gonna have to do though. Go ahead and grab another crafting station because we will need that. There we go. I'm going to show you real quick before I do a quick of the primitive build. That's my food levels. I've got food on me. Good. I just filled oxygen and water. I'm going to show you one of my other favorite spots of this map. It's a pass-through cave. Well, that didn't work out well. Oh, shoot. I need to change that. Oops. Alright. So over here, if you can see kind of that little hole in the wall there. Got this little pass-through cave that goes through. Turn on the light. It goes from one side of this little creek. Actually, I think it flows down the opposite direction, but you can get whatever ores you may need from here. I'm gonna hit the ceiling. It'll drop me down anyway. You got gold. You pretty much got everything in here. This is actually a cave here. So a cave inside of a cave. You got copper. I think that's iron. That's more iron right there. That there's titanium. Got similar caves to this in Olympus and Styx, obviously. Which is typically one of the ones I get my exotics from in those worlds, but there's no exotics in the outposts. The exotics in this particular cave on Olympus are typically sitting right here. But you got all kinds of good ores in here that you'll need to craft your wire or your ingots or whatever you may need. So we'll go back to the front and finish the trip through the pass-through. And there should be 3 or 4 other caves. Actually, I think there's 5 other caves in the game. One I found by accident. We're gonna land for a second. So this just comes out right here. That's platinum right there. Get out of here before cave sickness bites me too much. So I actually have all the other caves marked on the map. So we got a cave over here in A3 at the bottom. Got another cave up here in A2. One here right at the line of C2 and C1, and then one right here about a quarter of the way down in D3. And then hidden underwater caves, you got one inside this waterfall here in B4. And then one literally underwater, you gotta swim down into it in B2. So I think what we'll do, since we're doing a primitive build, and it's just gonna be a basic one, in my opinion, you always want to build next to water of some sort. So we'll go right here and build next to this water. Find a good spot. This looks like a good spot, nice and flat. Alright. Turn the light off, put the hammer away. Hotbar those, hotbar these. So what I do is I'll build something just basic. Maybe if I can get it to go this way, it'd be nice. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll do a 2x4 style build here. Pick up the fiber. Alright, so you always gonna want to have the beams here for support. They can go one space past them, otherwise your floor pieces are breaking. So we'll throw a couple of floor pieces down here. I forgot to get a door. I don't like that. We'll fix that. There we go. That looks better now. So it's just going to be a little. We'll go out one more section, that way we can kind of fit everything. There's a buffalo there. That's one of the wild buffaloes. Here's what we'll do. We'll go out another space here. That way. This buffalo's in the way, isn't he? And we'll go out another space this way. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. There we go. That'll be better. This buffalo's gonna die if he doesn't get out of my way here in a second. He just climbs on my build like it's like, yeah, this is mine now. Oops. This isn't your build, Mr. Tank. This is my build now. You're not keeping it. So, did I bring enough poles? I did not. I may have to craft some more real quick. That's alright. In order to put a roof on, you need to have good structural support going up. So we'll just craft 30 of those real quick. Free build mod, everything crafts really quickly. And I need a door, since I forgot to craft a door. So we'll craft 2 of those, just to have an extra one. Oh, the buffalo just goes over here and lays down. Lazy thing. I'll tell you what. So next I'm going to equip the walls. Just gotta put those where the floor pieces are. Let's put a door right there. We'll throw maybe a window here and a window there. A window in the middle. Go ahead and do some standard hard walls now. We'll just window, window, or just hard wall, door, and we'll do a window here. So I mean, this is pretty much just going to be a basic primitive, nothing special. I'm not doing any fancy glass or stone. This is basically just going to be a starter build. You've you've got enough to craft, so you're just going to throw something together real quick just so you have some kind of shelter, which this primitive starter shelter is another thing you can look at. Go ahead and put a roof on here. Ran out of pieces. We'll need something to go outside the door here, so flip that around by hitting R. Close that door so the buffalo don't come in. I have seen them do that if they're on follow. This buffalo is really having a hard time here. So, got your triangular pieces here. Let's go ahead and deploy a couple of those. One here. Oh, that's backwards. Knock that out. Hit R. Put that over here. Hit R. Yep, it's that one. R. That there. This is where you're going to need another wall, which good thing is, just go ahead and turn that into a regular wall because there's no point in trying to see outside of that from up there. Got this nice open spot here, which is where more floor pieces come into play. Doesn't really matter how you put these. So that's just a basic inside of just a basic primitive shelter, you know, nothing fancy. I'll show you your first home here in a minute though. So now is the time where I'll typically find a nice corner to start. I'll drop the bed. I'll typically like to go, I'll just use the MXC campfire here. No, you can use this inside, it will not catch your house on fire. Now if you're using the regular craftable fire pit that isn't from the workshop, it will catch your house on fire. Go ahead and put this storage chest right here. There you go. Now you got some storage. And then we brought all this extra stuff, so you got your cooking station, which you'll need a fire pit of some sort. Good thing is, got the MXC campfire, you can cook your meat. We'll deploy that there. We've got the oxygen, which you need sulfur and oxide for that, for this, in order for it to work. So you put your sulfur as your fuel consumption. You'll put your oxide in these two, and then up here is where you put your oxygen containers to fill. Oops, wrong button. But this is once you've gotten to a point where you're ready to build a decent shelter or a good starter shelter. This is going to hurt somebody's feelings here in a second, but Mr. Buffalo's getting on my nerves here. I do have a knife on me. Okay, good. You can actually, this is something else good to show you. If you need meat, protein, you can get leather, fur, bone, and raw meat from them. Hit take all. Get extra bone when you do what I'm doing here and pick up the bone. We'll leave that here in the storage. MXC fire. I'm out of wood. It's alright. That there, and then you'll put the meat in there to cook. And then, or you could use your cooking station. It'll give you all these kind of things. You can make raw meat, animal. Okay, this might be different because of the free crafting mod, but you can also use it for animal fat, which I do need more animal fat, so I'll just go ahead and... I'm on free build, so it doesn't really matter. But you can do that. But anyway, let's finish putting up everything that you've crafted it, you know you're ready to go. Put this alteration bench here, even though we don't really need it. That is just the basic alterations bench. You got your masonry bench. You can just throw that down right here. You know, just kind of spread everything out a little bit. Textiles bench if you need it. Probably, which you will. Just throw that there. And I kind of ran out of spaces to put this crafting bench, which you will need. So we'll just do this. You will need a machining bench too, but I didn't think I got the only one for this map and the other on the other build. So lo and behold, this is the basic build. You got the basic water purifier, which you will need to have charcoal to run it. So, but typically for that you need to be down in a watery area. So the good thing is there's a real close one right here. This is how you'll refill your canteens for a while. It just goes there like that, and once you get charcoal, you access it. Hold E, or whatever your key binding is. You put your charcoal in there. It runs out over time, and you just fill up your water containers. So this is basically like the third apartment you have, or maybe fourth if you decide to start with thatch, which you're probably better off starting with thatch because it's a lot easier to collect sticks and fir and fiber over the wood. I'll just go ahead and leave this stuff here because I really don't need it. So we'll just put that there. Sticks and fiber you can use for thatch. We'll just go ahead and store that in the crafting bench. It can stay here. But yeah, no, this is the fourth style really of a house that you can build. To start, you probably won't have a lot like I put in here, but if you've gotten to that point already, by the time you've gotten to the wood building or the primitive style building, you're good. You really need to have some structural support going up, which I didn't put in. Normally I'd have beams going up the center pieces here and the centers here and around for textural type look and structural look, but that's pretty much the greater majority of what this is going to look like if you've gotten to this point. Once again, your oxygen tanks, they'll just go in there just like that. They'll fill up. Uses oxide and sulfur as the fuel. You got an MXC campfire to cook on, your cooking station, your basic crafting bench. This is basically all the basic stuff once you've gotten to that point. So we're going to leave this here, and what I like to do now is I'm going to pop on Thor's hammer for just a second. Oh, too far, too far, too far. I should have paid a little bit better attention to how high I was going there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop on here, deploy the beacon. I'm going to interact with it, just basically, I got to click a little bit above it. Just primitive outpost. Oops, spelled that wrong. Just put video build. And we'll go tutorial. There you go. And change the color. I'll just change it to gray. And that's there. So like I said, just a basic, you know, you've gotten to a point where you're ready to upgrade from thatch or stone. You know, you've already brought down some stuff if you have the exotics to sell for it. Otherwise, you're crafting from start to finish. But in your real starter build, your first house is inside of a rock. Or a cave, but caves are a little bit dangerous to try to get into. So if you got a pickaxe, which I do have one, pick up some of this stuff from out of here. If you watch Core X Cribs Primitive Builds Edition, got a nice rock here. I'm gonna, wrong. I'm gonna crouch a little bit here. You just carve your way into a rock. If you have weather, which I have the no weather mod on, this is how you'll get your very first shelter, which I had to do on this map when I first started it, before I started building. Just kind of carve in a little bit. Try not to carve out too much of it, otherwise you're gonna still get stuck in the rain. But yeah, this will be your first primitive build here, or home. It's defensible this way. If you got animals coming in, you can attack. You know, it's your that's your first home. So, good old rock. Pick up all that stuff. The soybeans I need back over at the main house anyway. Make the soybean soup. So I will go ahead and collect all those while I'm over here. That and the food trough needs to be refilled anyway. We pick up these carrots. Okay, well, yeah, that was it. Got those there. It's like there's more soybeans here. Watermelon. You can eat all this stuff raw if you're in desperate need of food. More berries here. These little lilac or lily flowers you can actually use for crafting medicines. Reed flowers down here are good for crafting medicines. The coffee beans, until you get to a point where you're able to craft like the hot drinks and stuff, you might as well just leave those alone. Here's more soybean. Yeah, no, that's going to be the first, like, here's your very first primitive house here. Protect you from the weather. You unfortunately can't put a bed in there yet, but it'll protect you from the weather and the storms if you have them in the map. Let's see. There's pumpkin over here too. We can grab that because I can put it in the animal feeder and craft the animal food. So, check OBS. Where and how much time am I on here? 45 minutes. Okay. That's alright. this is a tutorial video anyway, so we're good. Let's go ahead and work our way back over to main base, which is over this way. This waterfall right here has the cave behind it, and then that pond we were doing the little video at is where the underwater cave is. Just make my way into the water. Alright. There's a lot of berries here to pick up. There's even pumpkin here. So, in my other world you've seen with Olympus and Styx, if you had noticed, I have the electronic food trough like I have here. This is gorse flour, mainly used for medicine. Oops, went the wrong way there. Don't need that anymore. So I don't think I really ever went over how this works. So you click into it. And you just, if you want to hold shift, you can put whatever you have in there food wise. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to the pumpkin. I don't need this. I don't need this because I'm on a free build mod. I do need food. And I like to eat one of both. These you can actually consume the whole stack when you're fully hungry. But this will, over time, build up the omni-animal food is what they call it. And your animals will be able to eat. All this water trough is connected directly to water. This runs on 500 power, which the power is running down from these two turbines. So, well, I slammed the face in my own, the door in my own face. Can you believe that? We'll go ahead and put that in there and put that in there for now. Get rid of that fiber. I thought I got rid of it. So that's it. That is the Icarus outpost, my aquatic isle outpost, and then Everbark outpost builds. Let's go ahead and do a camera pan here. There's the build. This took me a couple days to really get it how I wanted it, and I feel like I've got a really nice build here. It's another one that I worked hard on. I'm thinking about when I do my Icarus Olympus build for the new base I'm going to build on the center island in the Triangle Lake there in Olympus. I'm going to probably do something similar to this, but just a little bit bigger than this. But just because I kind of like how this turned out better than the other one. But the hardest part is power, so I may have to set up a power grid outside of the house in the lake. But outside of that, I think this is a really nice. I try to keep it clean and organized. If you can't tell, it's, you know, it would have been primitive, but I didn't really want the primitive look. Like I said before, I do like the glass look. Oh, I forgot about these. I did put these pictures in here. So, just a little bit of a decorative thing. I forgot all about those. Glad I saw them. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't want the primitive look. I like the glass style build better. So, that's what I got. And I thought this was just a really cool idea here. So, although doing that takes some finagling. But, anyway. So, alright guys, well, I'm Mr. Tank. I am your host for Icarus streaming here on my channel. You can always check out my Discord channel, Realms of Mr. Tank, or you can check out Karak's Cribs, Karak the Wookiee, one of my good friends on the game, and gaming buddies. I always want to give him a shout out in every video. You can check out Solwyn and Luna if they have a channel. I don't remember if they do. I've never seen one for them. I'm not sure if Lorak does either, but I will always make sure Karak gets mentioned. So go check his channel out, Karak the Wookiee. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all take care and have a good night.